Shabbat Shalom Yasharallah. Welcome in another Book of Joshua portion covering chapters 13 through 19. Yeah, we're doing a little bit more chapters this week because they go by a little bit quicker. But y'all know the deal. Before we begin, let's start with a prayer. Heavenly Abba, Shabbat Shalom. Tudah for allowing us to be here in your presence. We ask for shalom in this season. We ask for endurance, strength, and foresight to do your will and your will alone. We ask that you push anything that's not of your kingdom away and that you guide this fellowship and this reading by the only teacher through the Ruach Kodesh, that we are able to grow and to satisfy your will and your will alone, Heavenly Father. Tudah, and in the name of our Mashiach Yeshaya, Amen. All right, let's share screen and get this show on the road. Once again, chapters 13 through 19. It would, the rhythm we've been going at is 4 chapters. It would have been 13 to 16. But right when we get to from 16 to 19, is just breaking down the territory for each of the tribe. So it's pretty quick chapters, and I just wanted to keep that all together at the same time. All right. Without further ado, let's begin in chapter 13. And as I spoke, this is kind of what this entire Joshua portion is about, is the division of the land.
Joshua 13. Now Joshua was old and stricken in years, and the Lord said unto him, Thou art old and stricken in years, and there remaineth yet very much land to be possessed. This is the land that yet remaineth, all the borders of the Philistines, and all Geshuri, from Sihor, which is before Egypt, even unto the borders of Ekron northward, which is counted to the Canaanite, 5 lords of the Philistines, the Gazathites, and the Ashtothites, the Ashkolanites, the Gittites, and the Ekronites, also the Abites. From the south, all the land of the Canaanites, and Mearah, that is beside the Sidonians, unto Aphek, to the borders of the Amorites, and the land of the Giblites, in all Lebanon, toward the sun rising, from Baal-Gad, under Mount Hermon, unto the entering into Hamath. All the inhabitants of the hill country from Lebanon unto Misrephoth-Maim, and all the Sidonians, them will I drive out before the children of Israel. Only divide thou it by lot unto the Israelites for an inheritance, as I have commanded thee. Now therefore, divide this land for an inheritance unto the 9 tribes, and the half-tribe of Manasseh.
All right, before we get more into the inheritance and the division of land, I just wanted to show a picture, okay? And I want to make something clear. If you haven't seen America, the Old World, this is what I truly believe the idea. Do I know the factual borders? I'm not even trying to dispute the factual borders of each land within America. But the idea of what we're about to go over, I believe is all in America. And like I said, if you want more insight and you haven't watched it, I give a full study that is called America, the Old World on my YouTube, which will put Israel in the west portion of what we call the United States nowadays. And as this shows, the different areas of the lands zoomed in. So that being said, I'm going to show a picture, and it's going to be the fake state of Israel. So I'm saying all this so you can kind of, I'm just giving an image to kind of help with understanding as we're reading. So put the image of the fake state of Israel borders on top of this landmass is what I'm saying. I just wanted to give this disclaimer before I'm using these maps that I do not think is accurate at all, but at least the formation of where the land masses are can be some truth in that, because we have Judah. The inheritance of Judah is the southern kingdom, and Ephraim's above, and etc., etc. That's what this map will give us, just the idea of how each tribe is layered. And we can put this idea over West America. All right. So that being said, it says the land that remains, the Israelites never captured all the land that was promised to them. And this is an idea of the map, like I said, on the fake state of Israel, that a lot of the land, as we see, here's the key right here at the bottom, the highlighted, the land that yet remains. There was a lot of land north and a lot of land still south that remained and was never fully captured by the Israelites, because they became a weaker nation at the time that, as we're in right now, where Joshua became older and wasn't able to lead them because he became old and then obviously passes away. And after that time is where you get the book of Judges, when the Israelites are everywhere, just in and out of doing what they're supposed to do. And so they never truly free up all the promised land. And we also see, we'll read in this portion, that little lands and peoples inside the land that they have captured are still not fully removed, because they're not in full strength anymore. All right. That being said, let's continue with verse 8.
With whom the Reubenites and the Gadites have received their inheritance, which Moses gave them, beyond Jordan eastward, even as Moses the servant of the Lord gave them, from Aroer that is upon the bank of the river Arnon, and the city that is in the midst of the river, and all the plain of Medeba, unto Dibon, and all the cities of Sihon, king of the Amorites, which reigned in Heshbon, unto the border of the children of Ammon, and Gilead, and the border of the Geshurites and Maacathites, and all Mount Hermon, and all Bashan unto Salcah, all the kingdom of Og and Bashan, which reigned in Ashtaroth and in Edrei, who remained of the remnant of the giants, for these did Moses smite and cast them out. Nevertheless, the children of Israel expelled not the Geshurites, nor the Maacathites, but the Geshurites and the Maacathites dwell among the Israelites until this day. Only unto the tribe of Levi he gave none inheritance. The sacrifices of the Lord God of Israel, made by fire, are their inheritance, as he said unto them.
All right, so quick summary here. All of this is about the land that was freed up, that is east of Jordan, that has already been portioned for half the tribe of Manasseh, the Reubenites and the Gadites. And they even say right here that the Geshurites and whatever, how you say that again, still dwell amongst the Israelites, because they are not removing every single individual tribes of nation or smaller groups of people throughout the land. And just to get a little picture here, and that's why I wanted to give that opening statement, because we're going to refer back to this picture. So we're talking about on this side, east of Jordan, half the tribe of Manasseh, the orange, Gadites and Reubenites. And so that's what we're about to get into, verses 15, just to give a summary. Verse 15 through 23 is the land for the Reubenites. 24 through 28, the land of the Gadites. We're still all east of the river of Jordan. And then 29 through 31, Manassites. All right, so let's read it now. In the east of Jordan.
And Moses gave unto the tribe of the children of Reuben
And we read about this in the book of Numbers, right? That this all already had been given to them. And we went over this, I believe it was, I'm pretty sure it was last Joshua portion, that this land has been given to them, and because of the wars that happened in the book of Numbers, chapter 32. Not going to read that again, but all of this was in the book of Numbers, chapter 32, and summarized in verse 33 of Numbers. All right. Oh, almost. And we're going, and before I continue, almost forgot about verse 14. Only the tribe of Levi has not been given an inheritance of the land. So just as a review, let's go to Deuteronomy 18, 1 through 12. The priests, the Levites, and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of Hiah made by fire in his inheritance. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren. Hiah is their inheritance, as he has said unto them. Okay, so that was a reference for Joshua 13:14 there. All right, all that being said, now let's read.
Inheritance according to their families. And their coast was from Aroer, that is on the bank of the river Arnon, and the city that is in the midst of the river, and all the plain by Medeba, Heshbon, and all her cities that are in the plain, Dibon, and Bamoth Baal, and Beth Baal Meon, and Jahaza, and Kedemoth, and Mephath, and Kirjathaim, and Sibma, and Zareth Shahar, in the mount of the valley, and Beth Peor, and Ashdoth Pisgah, and Beth Jeshimoth, in all the cities of the plain, in all the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, which reigned in Heshbon, whom Moses smote with the princes of Midian, Evi, and Rechem, and Zur, and Hur, and Reba, which were dukes of Sihon, dwelling in the country. Balaam also the son of Beor, the soothsayer, did the children of Israel slay with the sword among them that were slain by them. And the border of the children of Reuben was Jordan, and the border thereof. This was the inheritance of the children of Reuben, after their families, the cities and the villages thereof.
All right, so once again, verse 15 through 23 is all of the inheritance of Reuben. Quick picture of this on top of West America. Like I said, that's to my understanding. And as it says, Reuben, and the border is Jordan. As we see, Jordan, Reuben east of it. And once again, Numbers is where all of this happens. I highly recommend you go over to the Torah portions if you have not read it line by line yet. We get all of this understanding there. All right, so now we're going to Gad.
And Moses gave inheritance unto the tribe of Gad, even unto the children of Gad according to their families. And their coast was Jazer, and all the cities of Gilead, and half the land of the children of Ammon unto Aroer, that is before Rabbah, and from Heshbon unto Ramath Mizpah, and Betonim, and from Mahanaim unto the border of Debir, and in the valley Beth-aram and Beth-nimrah, and Succoth and Zaphon, the rest of the kingdom of Sihon, king of Heshbon, Jordan and his border, even unto the edge of the sea of Chinnereth, on the other side Jordan eastward. This is the inheritance of the children of Gad after their families, the cities and their villages.
And do this the entire time, after every inherited land. And then we have Gad to eastward of Jordan. Verse 29, Manasseh.
And Moses gave inheritance unto the half-tribe of Manasseh, and this was the possession of the half-tribe of the children of Manasseh by their families. And their coast was from Mahanaim, all Bashan, all the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all the towns of Jair, which are in Bashan, 80 cities, and half Gilead, and Ashtoreth, and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og and Bashan, were pertaining unto the children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, even to the 1/2 of the children of Machir by their families.
And here we go. All right. And as this one as well, we see slightly different style look on this one, but that's what I said. This is not about being a perfect picture. This is just to give a general idea to help us with understanding of the formation of each tribe's generalized location. All right, in closing this chapter 32.
These are the countries which Moses did distribute for inheritance in the plains of Moab, on the other side Jordan by Jericho eastward. But unto the tribe of Levi, Moses gave not any inheritance. The Lord God of Israel was their inheritance, as he said unto them.
All right, that's chapter 13, and we're going to go to Jasher chapter 90 as a summary of what's happening right now in those days, verses 12 through 16, chapter 90 of Jasher. In those days, after the children of Yasharallah had driven away all the Canaanites and Amorites, Joshua was old and advanced in years, and the Adon said to Joshua, "Thou art old, advanced in life, and a great part of the land remains to be possessed. Now, therefore, divide this land for an inheritance to the 9 tribes and to the 1/2 tribe of Manasseh." And Joshua rose up and did as the Adon had spoken to him. And he divided the whole land to the tribes of Yasharallah as an inheritance according to their divisions. But to the tribe at Levi, he gave no inheritance. The offering of the Adon are their inheritance, as the Adon has spoken of them by the hand of Moshe. And we haven't quite got to the rest of the division of the tribes, but we will in this portion. And that is chapter 13 of Joshua. All right, chapter 14. The book, this chapter is mostly about Caleb. Let's read.
Joshua 14. And these are the countries which the children of Israel inherited in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel distributed for inheritance to them. By lot was their inheritance, as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses, for the 9 tribes and for the 1/2 tribe. For Moses had given the inheritance of 2 tribes and an 1/2 tribe on the other side Jordan, but unto the Levites he gave none inheritance among them. For the children of Joseph were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. Therefore they gave no part unto the Levites in the land, save cities to dwell in, with their suburbs for their cattle and for their substance. As the Lord commanded Moses, so the children of Israel did, and they divided the land.
All right, so we have a summary of what they're about to do here, right? Now in the west, so the west of the Jordan, we already did everything to the right of the Jordan. Now we're talking about all the rest of the land. So, and as they're speaking of this in real time, the tribe of Judah approaches Joshua for the promise made to Caleb, which is of the tribe of Judah.
Then the children of Judah came unto Joshua in Gilgal, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite said unto him, Thou knowest the thing that the Lord said unto Moses, the man of God, concerning me and thee in Kadesh Barnea. 40 years old was I, when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to espy out the land, and I brought him word again, as it was in mine heart. Nevertheless, my brethren that went up with me made the heart of the people melt, but I wholly followed the Lord my God. And Moses sware on that day, saying, Surely the land whereon thy feet have trodden shall be thine inheritance, and thy children's forever, because thou hast wholly followed the Lord my God. And now behold, the Lord hath kept me alive, as he said, these 45 years, even since the Lord spake this word unto Moses, while the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness. And now, lo, I am this day 85 years old. As yet I am as strong this day as I was in the day that Moses sent me. As my strength was then, even so is my strength now, for war, both to go out and to come in. Now therefore give me this mountain, whereof the Lord spake in that day. For thou heardest in that day how the Anakims were there, and that the cities were great and fenced. If so be the Lord will be with me, then I shall be able to drive them out, as the Lord said. And Joshua blessed him, and gave unto Caleb the son of Jephunneh Hebron for an inheritance. Hebron therefore became the inheritance of Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite unto this day, because that he wholly followed the Lord God of Israel. And the name of Hebron before was Kirjath-Arba, which Arba was a great man among the Anakims, and the land had rest from war.
All right, like I said, this chapter was about fulfilling the promise that was made to Caleb for being righteous, and only one of two that came into the land that was originally a part of the original Exodus. So let's review all of this. Numbers 13, verse 6 and 30. Of the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, and Caleb stilled the people. So this is just pointing out him as, in the full context of the chapter, this is he was one of the 12 chosen spies that went into the land. And then by the end of the chapter, verse 30, Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. And this was right after the other 10 unrighteous spies outside of Joshua and Caleb was telling the people, they're giants. We're scared. We will not be able to do it. And that's when Caleb stepped in and said, yo, calm down. We can do all things because Most High, Messiah is on our side. And then we go to Numbers 14, verse 24 to 30 to 38. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him and has followed me fully, him will I bring into the land whereinto he went, and his seed shall possess it. Doubtless ye shall not come into the land. So this is everybody else. So he made a point that Caleb, and we'll see later on, and he also includes Joshua, will go into the land, but all y'all other folks ain't coming into the land because y'all doubt me. Doubtless ye shall not come into the land, concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, the son of Nun. But your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which ye have despised. But as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in this wilderness, and your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years, and bear your whoredoms until your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness. After the number of the days in which ye search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year. So the spies went and searched out the land 40 days. And since they came back and sinned and made the hearts of the Israelites melt with fear, each day for a year shall ye bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and ye shall know my breach of promise. So that was their punishment. That's why they were in the wilderness 40 years, because of the 40 days of the spies, and the report they came back with was sinful. And Hayah have said, I will surely do it unto all this evil congregation that are gathered together against me. In this wilderness they shall be consumed, and there they shall die. And the men which Moses sent to search the land, who returned and made all the congregation to murmur against him by bringing up a slander upon the land, Even those men that did bring up the evil report upon the land died by the plague before the Most High. But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of the men that went to search the land, lived still. So that's a pretty good summary of all what's happening right now in chapter 14 of Joshua. Now I want to finish searching out exactly who Caleb is. Deuteronomy 1:36. Once again, save Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. He shall see it, and to him will I give the land that he has trodden upon to his children, because he has wholly followed the Most High. So here's just a clear promise given to Caleb. And so now we're going to look into him as an individual. Save Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite. There's a reason why they're putting the Kenizzite. Why would they put a Kenizzite if he was an Israelite? If he was an Israelite, he would be an Israelite, but he's a Kenizzite. Let's look into the origin of this name. Let me see. Do I have that? Is that right here? Oh, yep, here it is. We see Kenizzite, a descendant of Kenaz. Descendant of Kenaz. This is what a Kenizzite is. So now we need to search and see who is Kenaz. Genesis 36, 10 and 11 and 15. These are the names of the Esau's sons. And just getting to the point, we find right there Kenaz, and also under the dukes of Esau, Kenaz. Caleb is an Edomite. Plain and simple. Caleb is an Edomite. I know. You hear from these people, like all the descendants of Esau are evil, right? No. Job was an Edomite. And we know at one point Job was called one of the greatest servants in the land on all earth, according to the book of Job. And then now we see Caleb is also an Edomite, and he has been given a portion of the promised land because of how faithful he was in the wilderness. These are clear examples in the Old Testament that Gentiles were being grafted in all the way back then, which once again shows us that a lot of the doctrine that we claim started in not we, but the world, the churches claim that started in the New Testament is not actually new. It's just been amplified in the New Testament. But this is nothing new. Foreigners have been grafted in from the beginning of the covenant. Just the Israelites is what the promise has been made through. And he obviously have been grafted into the tribe of Judah. And we see this is a fulfillment of what is spoken of in Ezekiel 47, verse 21 through 23. So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel. This is what we're going over right now. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which ye shall begat children among you. And they shall be unto you as born into the country among the children of Israel. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourns, Judah for Caleb particularly, there shall ye give him his inheritance, says Hayam. So, I mean, man, all right there in the Old Testament for those that have eyes to see. And then we look at the map. Caleb is of the tribe of Judah, right? And what was Caleb? What was the land Caleb was given? Hebron. Therefore became the inheritance of Caleb. Well, what do you know? Just as Ezekiel 47 says, the tribe, the stranger sojourn, there shall ye give him his inheritance. So where was the inheritance of Caleb? Hebron. In the inheritance of Judah, the tribe that he sojourns with. Man, could it add up any better than that? What a prime example of what is a more amplified point that's happening in the New Testament with the Gentiles that will be sojourning amongst Israel, especially in the promised land of New Jerusalem. All right. And now that's all I have for chapter 14. And I'm just going to touch with a few verses in Jasher 90 at this conclusion of Joshua chapter 14. So 90, I'm going to read verses 17 through 19. And Joshua gave Mount Hebron to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, one portion above his brethren. Ain't that crazy? Caleb was given one portion above his brethren, and he's an Edomite. It's crazy. Even I didn't expect that coming into this truth of the matter. As the Adon has spoken through Moses. Therefore, Hebron became an inheritance to Caleb and his children unto this day. And Joshua divided the whole land by lots to all Israel for an inheritance, as the Adon had commanded him. And that is what we're going to do the rest of this reading, because we're done with the book of Joshua, the rest of this portion, because that's what we're tackling is verse 19. The rest of the inheritance on the western side of the river of Jordan. All right, that being said, let's go to chapter 15. Oh, yeah. Joshua and Caleb are examples of the barley, the first fruits, but for sure, that's why they have been given a portion above their brethren, because there's levels to everything. All right, Joshua 15. So I'm going to be real with y'all. For the most part of chapters 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, I'm not going to have a lot to add because it's just portioning out the lands and the cities. But we are going to do our line by line reading and take in as much as we can. Let us read.
Joshua 15. This then was the lot of the tribe of the children of Judah by their families, even to the border of Edom, the wilderness of Zin. Southward was the uttermost part of the south coast. And their south border was from the shore of the salt sea, from the bay that looketh southward. And it went out to the south side to Male Akrabim, and passed along to Zin, and descended up on the south side unto Kadesh Barnea, and passed along to Hezron, and went up to Adar, and fenced a compass to Karka. From thence it passed toward Asman, and went out unto the river of Egypt, and the goings out of that coast were at the sea. This shall be your south coast. And the east border was the salt sea, even unto the end of Jordan, and their border in the north quarter was from the bay of the sea at the uttermost part of Jordan. And the border went up to Beth Hoglah, and passed along by the north by Beth Arabah, and the border went up to the stone of Bohan, the son of Reuben. And the border went up toward Debir from the valley of Achor, and so northward, looking toward Gilgal, that is, before the going up to Adamim, which is on the south side of the river. And the border passed toward the waters of En-Shemesh, and the goings out thereof were at En-Rogel. And the border went up by the valley of the son of Hinnom, unto the south side of the Jebusite, the same as Jerusalem. And the border went up to the top of the mountain that lieth before the valley of Hinnom, westward, which is at the end of the valley of the giants, northward. And the border was drawn from the top of the hill unto the fountain of the water of Nephtoah, and went out to the cities of Mount Ephron. And the border was drawn to Baal-ah, which is Kirjath-jearim. And the border compassed from Baal-ah westward unto Mount Seir, and passed along unto the side of Mount Jearim, which is Chesalon, on the north side, and went down to Beth-Shemesh, and passed on to Timnah. And the border went out unto the side of Ekron northward, and the border was drawn to Shikron, and passed along to Mount Baalah, and went out unto Jabneel, and the goings out of the border were at the sea. And the west border was to the great sea, and the coast thereof. This is the coast of the children of Judah, round about according to their families. And unto Caleb the son of Jephunneh he gave a part among the children of Judah, according to the commandment of the Lord to Joshua, even the city of Arba, the father of Anak, which city is Hebron. And Caleb drove thence the three sons of Anak, Sheshai, and Ahiman, and Talmai, the children of Anak. And he went up thence to the inhabitants of Debir, and the name of Debir before was Kirjath-sepher. And Caleb said, He that smiteth Kirjath-sepher, and taketh it, to him will I give Achsah my daughter to wife. And Othniel, the son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, took it, and he gave him Achsah his daughter to wife. And it came to pass, as she came unto him, that she moved him to ask of her father a field. And she lighted off her ass. And Caleb said unto her, What wouldest thou? Who answered, Give me a blessing, for thou hast given me a south land. Give me also springs of water. And he gave her the upper springs, and the nether springs.
All right, so just real quick, I wanted to just touch that this is actually happens in the book of Judges. This is just summarizing the finished layout of the inheritance. And we see that Caleb gives a portion to his brother because of the what, let me see. He said, those that drive out the three sons of Anak, he will give his daughter, and that was his brother. And so she asked for inheritance of a field. And this is all can be found of the actual timing of this event in Judges chapter 1, 11 through 15, and then 20 through 21, summarizing this event. And I mean, it's almost verbatim exactly what we just read. And Caleb said, he that, I don't think it's really any different. And it came to pass, or just reiterated in the book of Judges. So, yeah, just a precept if you want to have that verse connection that is reiterated in Judges chapter 1 of what happened in Joshua 15, 13 through 19 that we just read, 13 through 19. All right. Let's continue with this whole chapter is about the inheritance of Judah. Let's continue with that.
This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Judah according to their families. And the uttermost cities of the tribe of the children of Judah toward the coast of Edom southward were Kabzeel, and Adair, and Jagur, and Kinnah, and Timnah, and Aradah, and Kadesh, and Hazor, and Ithnan, Ziph, and Telem, and Bealoth, and Hazor, and Haratah, and Kirioth, and Hezron, which is Hazor, Amam, and Shema, and Maladah, and Hazar Gadah, and Heshmon, and Beth Pelet, and Hazar Shual, and Beersheba, and Bizjothjah, Baalah, and Aim, and Azem, and El Talad, and Chesil, and Hormah, and Ziklag, and Madmanah, and Sansanah, and Lebaoth, and Shilhim, and Ain, and Rimmon. All the cities are 29 with their villages. And in the valley, Eshtaol, and Zoreah, and Ashnah, and Zanoah, and Enganim, Tapua, and Anam, Jarmuth, and Adullam, Soko, and Azekah, and Sharaim, and Adathaim, and Gedera, and Gederothaim, 14 cities with their villages, Zenan, and Hadashah, and Migdal Gad, and Dilian, and Mespah, and Joktheel, Lachish, and Bozkath, and Eglon, and Kabon, and Lamam, and Kitlish, and Gederoth, Beth Dagon, and Naamah, and Makkedah, 16 cities with their villages, Libnah, and Ether, and Ashan, and Jiphthah, and Ashnah, and Nazib, and Keilah, and Akzib, and Maresha, 9 cities with their villages, Ekron with her towns and her villages. From Ekron even unto the sea, all that lay near Ashdod with their villages, Ashdod with her towns and her villages, Gaza with her towns and her villages, unto the river of Egypt, and the great sea and the border thereof. And in the mountains, Shamir, and Jatir, and Succoth, and Danah, and Kirjath-sanah, which is Debir, and Anab, and Eshtemoh, and Anim, and Goshen, and Holon, and Gilo, 11 cities with their villages, Arab, and Dumah, and Eshan, and Janam, and Beth Tapua, and Aphekah, and Humtah, and Kirjath Arba, which is Hebron, and Zior, 9 cities with their villages, Maon, Carmel, and Ziph, and Juttah, and Jezreel, and Jokdeam, and Zanoah, Cain, Gibeah, and Timnah, 10 cities with their villages, Halhal, Beth-zur, and Gedor, and Marath, and Beth-anoth, and El-Tikon, 6 cities with their villages, Kirjath-baal, which is Kirjath-jearim, and Rabbah, 2 cities with their villages. In the wilderness, Beth-arabah, Medin, and Sekaka, and Nibshan, and the city of Salt, and En-gedi, 6 cities with their villages. As for the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the children of Judah could not drive them out, but the Jebusites dwell with the children of Judah at Jerusalem unto this day.
All right, we see, well, once again, talked about it in verse 13, that not all the people that is in the land that is promised has been driven out. And we see the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, Judah could not drive them all out. So some still resided there. And so the entirety of Joshua 15 is about the promise portion to the tribe of Judah. And that is all I have for this chapter. All right, chapter 16 is only 10 verses, and this chapter is to the allotment of Ephraim. This says Ephraim and Manasseh, but Manasseh is actually in chapter 17. It mentions Manasseh, but we don't get to the promises until 17. This is all about Ephraim. Let us read.
Joshua 16. And the lot of the children of Joseph fell from Jordan by Jericho unto the water of Jericho on the east, to the wilderness that goeth up from Jericho throughout Mount Bethel, and goeth out from Bethel to Luz, and passeth along unto the borders of Archi to Ataroth, and go.
Oops, let me stop. I wanted to go back to this every time. Got 2 different images of it, but Judah, every time we go over a tribe, just give an image to help with the formation of it. So here is Judah right there. All right, let's continue.
Down westward to the coast of Jephletai, unto the coast of Beth-horon, the Nether, and to Gezer, and the goings out thereof are at the sea. So the children of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim took their inheritance. And the border of the children of Ephraim according to their families was thus. Even the border of their inheritance on the east side was Adaroth-adar unto Beth-horon the upper, and the border went out toward the sea to Mikmathah on the north side, and the border went about eastward unto Taanath Shiloh, and passed by it on the east to Janoah. And it went down from Janoah to Adaroth and to Naarath, and came to Jericho, and went out at Jordan. The border went out from Tappuah westward unto the river Kanah, and the goings out thereof were at the sea. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Ephraim by their families. And the separate cities for the children of Ephraim were among the inheritance of the children of Manasseh, all the cities with their villages. And they drave not out the Canaanites that dwelt in Gezer. But the Canaanites dwell among the Ephraimites unto this day, and serve under tribute.
So, as we saw, the Jebusites in Jerusalem were not driven all out. We see there were Canaanites in Gezer that wasn't driven out entirely either, but they were under servitude, right? And now let's go back to the picture. And so we see when it says Ephraim and Manasseh, that's what they're talking about, sharing cities, borders. This is what we're looking at here. And so now we're getting into chapter 17, which will go right into Manasseh's portion. The entire chapter is Manasseh.
Joshua 17. There was also a lot for the tribe of Manasseh, for he was the firstborn of Joseph, to wit, for Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of Gilead, because he was a man of war. Therefore he had Gilead and Bashan. There was also a lot for the rest of the children of Manasseh by their families, for the children of Abiezer, and for the children of Helek, and for the children of Azriel, and for the children of Shechem, and for the children of Hepher, and for the children of Shemida. These were the male children of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, by their families. But Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, had no sons, but daughters. And these are the names of his daughters: Mahlah and Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. And they came near before Eleazar the priest, and before Joshua the son of Nun, and before the princes, saying, The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our brethren. Therefore, according to the commandment of the Lord, he gave them an inheritance among the brethren of their father.
All right, so this is brought up a couple times in the Torah about the daughters that are not males. So the males are given the inheritance in the family through the seed of their fathers. But what happens when you only have women? And this is what they're speaking of, talking about the promise. Let me see. That he gave them an inheritance among their brethren of their father, even though they're women. So let's just touch on that. We find in the book of Numbers, then came the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Helper, as we see here. This is the same people, right? Son of Manasseh, that's what we're in right now, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. And these are their daughters. So this is the same exact people that we're going to talk about right here. And they stood before Moses and before Eleazar the priest and before the princes and all the congregation by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, and he was not in the company of them that gathered themselves together against the Most High, but died in his own sin and had no sons. Why should the name of our father be done away from among his family, because he has no son? Give unto us, therefore, a possession among the brethren of our father. And Moses brought their cause before the Most High. And the Most High spoke unto Moses, saying, The daughters of Zelophehad speak right. Thou shalt surely give them a possession of an inheritance among their father's brethren. I mean, verbatim, what it just said. He gave them an inheritance among the brethren of their father. And thou shalt cause the inheritance of their father to pass unto them. So just because you have no sons doesn't mean your inheritance is gone away with. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a man die and have no son, then ye shall cause his inheritance to pass unto his daughter. But there was one little problem with this that had to be resolved. is that what if she marries someone of another tribe, and then that goes under the head of that family, which is of another tribe? Will the inheritance be taken away? And that question is answered later on in Numbers chapter 36, verse 2 through 10. And they said, Hiah commanded my Lord to give the land for inheritance by the lot of the children of Yasharallah, and my Lord was commanded by Hiah to give inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters. And if they be married to any of the sons of other tribes of the children of Yasharallah, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received, as I previously just stated. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance, from the original tribe the daughters are from. And where the jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. Hope you're following. I know this is a lot. And Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of Hiah, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph has said, well, this is the thing which the Most High does command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best. Only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And every daughter that possesses an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her father, that the children of Israel may enjoy every man the inheritance of his fathers. Neither shall the inheritance be removed from one tribe to another tribe, but every one of the tribes of the children of Israel shall keep himself to his own inheritance, even as Hiah commanded Moshe. So the daughters did. And so in layman's terms, if a woman has an inheritance from her father because he has no sons, that woman has to marry within the tribe of her fathers. That does not go for every woman Israelite. In other words, a woman from the tribe of Dan doesn't have to marry a Danite man. She can be able to marry someone else within Israel. The only women that can't marry outside of their tribe is if they hold the inheritance of their fathers by law, according to this chapter. And Numbers 36. All right. Now we have that insight on exactly the daughters of Zelophehad. Let's continue. Let's see. I think I stopped at verse 6? Should be verse 7 now, chapter 17.
And there fell 10 portions.
Oops. Where is it at? Where did I stop? Okay, wait, I stopped at 5. Verse 5.
To Manasseh, beside the land of Gilead and Bashan, which were on the other side Jordan, because the daughters of Manasseh had an inheritance among his sons, and the rest of Manasseh's sons had the land of Gilead. And the coast of Manasseh was from Asher to Michmethah, that lieth before Shechem, and the border went along on the right hand unto the inhabitants of En Tappuah. Now Manasseh had the land of Tappuah, but Tappuah on the border of Manasseh belonged to the children of Ephraim, and the coast descended unto the river Kanah. Southward of the river, these cities of Ephraim are among the cities of Manasseh. The coast of Manasseh also was on the north side of the river, and the outgoings of it were at the sea. Southward it was Ephraim's, and northward it was Manasseh's, and the sea is his border. and they met together in Asher on the north, and in Issachar on the east. And Manasseh had in Issachar and in Asher Beth-shean and her towns, and Ibleam and her towns, and the inhabitants of Dor and her towns, and the inhabitants of Endor and her towns, and the inhabitants of Tanakh and her towns, and the inhabitants of Megiddo and her towns, even 3 countries. Yet the children of Manasseh could not drive out the inhabitants of those cities, but the Canaanites would dwell in that land. Yet it came to pass, when the children of Israel were waxen strong, that they put the Canaanites to tribute, but did not utterly drive them out.
This is exactly what I was saying in the beginning, that there are remnants of Canaanites throughout the land that wasn't able to be completely driven out. And what is the reason of this? When the children of Israel were waxing strong, that they put the Canaanites to tribute, but they did not utterly drive them out. Because, I mean, if you know the history, especially after the book of Joshua, you know why they wasn't waxing strong to fully clear out the land. Because, man, they were in and out of idolatry or just weak in faith. All right, verse 14.
And the children of Joseph spake unto Joshua, saying, Why hast thou given me but one lot, and one portion to inherit, seeing I am a great people, forasmuch as the Lord hath blessed me hitherto? And Joshua answered them, If thou be a great people, then get thee up to the wood country, and cut down for thyself there in the land of the Perizzites, and of the giants, if Mount Ephraim be too narrow for thee. And the children of Joseph said, The hill is not enough for us, and all the Canaanites that dwell in the land of the valley have chariots of iron, both they who are of Beth-shean and her towns, and they who are of the valley of Jezreel. And Joshua spake unto the house of Joseph, even to Ephraim and to Manasseh, saying, Thou art a great people, and hast great power. Thou shalt not have one lot only. But the mountain shall be thine, for it is a wood, and thou shalt cut it down, and the outgoings of it shall be thine. For thou shalt drive out the Canaanites, though they have iron chariots, and though they be strong.
All right. And that is the land lot promised to the tribe of Manasseh. Let's take a little peek at it. It talked about, let's see. So yeah, I mean, talks about the borders with Ephraim, Asher, and we see all their bordering neighbors of tribes. And that is the conclusion of chapter 17. Chapter 18.
Joshua 18. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel assembled together at Shiloh, and set up the tabernacle of the congregation there. And the land was subdued before them. And there remained among the children of Israel 7 tribes which had not yet received their inheritance. And Joshua said unto the children of Israel, How long are ye slack to go to possess the land which the Lord God of your fathers hath given you? Give out from among you 3 men for each tribe, and I will send them. And they shall rise, and go through the land, and describe it according to the inheritance of them, and they shall come again to me. And they shall divide it into 7 parts. Judah shall abide in their coast on the south, and the house of Joseph shall abide in their coasts on the north. Ye shall therefore describe the land into 7 parts, and bring the description hither to me, that I may cast lots for you here before the Lord our God. But the Levites have no part among you, for the priesthood of the Lord is their inheritance. And Gad and Reuben, and half the tribe of Manasseh, have received their inheritance beyond Jordan on the east, which Moses the servant of the Lord gave them. And the men arose and went away. And Joshua charged them that went to describe the land, saying, Go and walk through the land, and describe it, and come again to me, that I may here cast lots for you before the Lord in Shiloh. And the men went and passed through the land, and described it by cities into 7 parts in a book, and came again to Joshua to the host at Shiloh. Then Joshua cast lots for them in Shiloh before the Lord. And there Joshua divided the land unto the children of Israel according to their divisions.
All right, so we're starting off with Benjamin, and Benjamin is the rest of this chapter, verse 11 through 28. The inherited lot for the tribe of Benjamin.
And the lot of the tribe of the children of Benjamin came up according to their families. And the coast of their lot came forth between the children of Judah and the children of Joseph. And their border on the north side was from Jordan, and the border went up to the side of Jericho on the north side, and went up through the mountains westward, and the goings out thereof were at the wilderness of Bethaven. And the border went over from thence toward Luz, to the side of Luz, which is Bethel southward, and the border descended to Adarothadar, near the hill that lieth on the south side of the nether Bethoron. And the border was drawn thence, and compassed the corner of the sea southward, from the hill that lieth before Bethoron southward, and the goings out thereof were at Kirjath-Baal, which is Kirjath-Jearim, a city of the children of Judah. This was the west quarter. And the south quarter was from the end of Kirjath-Jearim, and the border went out on the west, and went out to the well of waters of Nephtoah. And the border came down to the end of the mountain that lieth before the valley of the son of Hinnom, and which is in the valley of the giants on the north, and descended to the valley of Hinnom, to the side of Jebusai on the south, and descended to En-Rogel, and was drawn from the north, and went forth to En-Shemesh, and went forth toward Gililoth, which is over against the going up of Adumim, and descended to the stone of Boan, the son of Reuben, and passed along toward the side over against Arabah northward, and went down unto Arabah. And the border passed along to the side of Beth-Hoglah northward, and the outgoings of the border were at the north bay of the Salt Sea, at the south end of Jordan. This was the south coast. And Jordan was the border of it on the east side. This was the inheritance of the children of Benjamin, by the coast thereof round about according to their families. Now the cities of the tribe of the children of Benjamin according to their families were Jericho, and Beth-Hoglah, and the valley of Keziz, and Beth-Arabah, and Zamaraim, and Bethel, and Avim, and Parah, and Ophrah, and Shephar Hamanai, and Ophni, and Gaba, 12 cities with their villages, Gibeon and Ramah, and Beeroth, and Mizpeh, and Shiphrah, and Moza, and Rechem, and Irpiel, and Taralah, and Zelah, Eleph, and Jebusai, which is Jerusalem, Gibeath, and Kirjath, 14 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the children of Benjamin, according to their families.
All right. Well, says as would be between Judah and Ephraim, as we see here. Judah and Ephraim, and the east of it would be Jordan. And that is the conclusion of chapter 18. And the last chapter of this portion of Joshua, chapter 19. Quick summary before we read it. If you want to write it down so it's just nice and orderly, we have verses 1 through 9 is the tribe of Simeon's lot. Verses 10 through 16, Zebulun. 17 through 23, Issachar. 24 through 31, Asher. 32 through 39, Naphtali. And 40 through 48, Dan. And we're just going to read their lands and their cities that they have been given.
Joshua 19. And the second lot came forth to Simeon, even for the tribe of the children of Simeon according to their families, and their inheritance was within the inheritance of the children of Judah. And they had in their inheritance Beersheba, or Sheba, and Moladah, and Hazar-Shual, and Bala, and Azem, and El-Talad, and Bethul, and Hormah, and Ziklag, and Beth-Makabath, and Hazar-Susa, and Beth-Leboth, and Sharuim, 13 cities and their villages. Ain, Rimmon, and Ether, and Ashan, 4 cities and their villages. And all the villages that were round about these cities to Balath Beer, Ramoth of the south. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Simeon according to their families. Out of the portion of the children of Judah was the inheritance of the children of Simeon. For the part of the children of Judah was too much for them. Therefore, the children of Simeon had their inheritance within the inheritance of them.
All right. So, and this is based on that last verse. The part of the children of Judah was too much. Therefore, the children of Simeon had their inheritance within the inheritance of them. And that's why it looks like this. A little roundabout lot for Simeon within Judah's lot. All right, let's get into Zebulun.
And the third lot came up for the children of Zebulun according to their families, and the border of their inheritance was unto Sarid. And their border went up toward the sea, and Maralah, and reached to Dabasheth, and reached to the river that is before Jokneam, and turned from Sarid eastward toward the sunrising unto the border of Chisloth Tabor, and then goeth out to Daberath, and goeth up to Japhia, and from thence passeth on along on the east to Gittah-Hefer, to Ittah-Kazin, and goeth out to Rimmon Methoar, to Neah, and the border compasseth it on the north side to Hanathon, and the outgoings thereof are in the valley of Jiphthah-El, and Katath, and Nahalal, and Shimron, and Idalah, and Bethlehem, 12 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the children of Zebulun according to their families, these cities with their villages.
All right, Zebulun. Here we have Zebulun. I mean, right in the thick of all the other tribes up north. Issachar, let's do it. Verse 17.
And the fourth lot came out to Issachar, for the children of Issachar according to their families. And their border was toward Jezreel, and Chesuloth, and Shunem, and Ephraim, and Shan, and Anaharath, and Rabith, and Kishon, and Abez, and Rameth, and Enganim, and Enhadah, and Beth-Pazez. And the coast reacheth to Tabor, and Shahazimah, and Beth-Shemesh, and the outgoings of their border were at Jordan, 16 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Issachar according to their families, the cities and their villages.
All right, let's take a peek. And here we have it. Issachar. Moving on along, verse 24, Asher.
And the fifth lot came out for the tribe of the children of Asher according to their families. And their border was Helkath, and Halai, and Beten, and Akshaph, and Alamelech, and Amad, and Mishael, and reacheth to Carmel westward, and to Shihor Libnath, and turneth toward the sunrising to Beth-Dagon, and reacheth to Zebulun, and to the valley of Jiphthah-El, toward the north side of Beth-Emek, and Neiel, and goeth out to Kabul on the left hand, and Hebron, and Rehob, and Hammon, and Cana, even unto great Zidon. And then the coast turneth to Ramah, and to the strong city Tyre, and the coast turneth to Hosa, and the outgoings thereof are at the sea from the coast to Akzib, Uma also and Aphek, and Rehob, 22 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Asher according to their families, these cities with their villages.
Asher. Here we have. And that's well, I'll say that for the end. Let's finish this chapter. All right, so that's Asher. Verse 32, Naphtali.
The sixth lot came out to the children of Naphtali, even for the children of Naphtali according to their families. And their coast was from Heleth, from Alon to Zaananim, and Adamai, Nekeb, and Jabneel, unto Lacum, and the outgoings thereof were at Jordan. And then the coast turneth westward to Aznoth Tabor, and goeth out from thence to Hukkok, and reacheth to Zebulun on the south side, and reacheth to Asher on the west side, and to Judah upon Jordan toward the sunrising. And the fenced cities are Ziddim, Zair, and Hamath, Rakath, and Chinnereth, and Adamah, and Ramah, and Hazor, and Kadesh, and Edrei, and En-Hazor, and Aran, and Migdal-El, Horem, and Bethanath, and Beth-Shemesh, 19 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Naphtali, according to their families, the cities and their villages.
All right, Naphtali. Dan, verse 40.
And the seventh lot came out for the tribe of the children of Dan, according to their families. And the coast of their inheritance was Zorah, and Eshtaol, and Ir-Shemesh, and Sha'alabim, and Ailan, and Jedlah, and Elon, and Thimnathah, and Ekron, and Eltekah, and Gibbethon, and Baalath, and Jehud, and Bene Barak, and Gath-Rimmon, and Mijarkon, and Rakon with the border before Japho. And the coast of the children of Dan went out too little for them. Therefore the children of Dan went up to fight against Leshem, and took it, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and possessed it, and dwelt therein, and called Leshem Dan, after the name of Dan their father. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Dan, according to their families, these cities with their villages.
And lastly, Dan. Verse 49.
When they had made an end of dividing the land for inheritance by their coasts, the children of Israel gave an inheritance to Joshua the son of Nun among them. According to the word of the Lord, they gave him the city which he asked, even Timnath-Serah, in Mount Ephraim. And he built the city, and dwelt therein. These are the inheritances which Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel, divided for an inheritance by lot in Shiloh before the Lord, at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So they made an end of dividing the country.
All right. And that is, as it said, the last thing we read in Jasher, that Joshua divided the whole land by lots to all Yasharallah for an inheritance as the Adon had commanded him. That's what this portion mostly was about. And that is the conclusion of this Joshua portion. But I just wanted to make the statement and that when we look at the land, talking about, that it's over here in America, this is called the Great Sea on the west border, as spoken in Joshua 15, as we see when it speaks of Judah's inheritance. And the west border was to the Great Sea in the coast thereof. And what would be a great sea? An ocean. An ocean. This sea over here, the Mediterranean, what we call the Mediterranean Sea, is not a great sea. It's pretty small. I don't think anyone would describe this sea, when you look at a full map of this area, as great. It's just a sea. A great sea would be an ocean. Just wanted to throw that out there. But that is the conclusion of this book of Joshua portion, chapter 13 through 19. Once again, Shabbat Shalom. We have just one more portion left. I'll see y'all next week. Thank y'all for joining me.